Let's talk about a scenario that keeps global leaders up at night. What if one of the world's most important, most volatile waterways just shut down tomorrow? It's a question with huge consequences for all of us, and it all comes down to one narrow strait.
So, what if this single narrow waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, was suddenly closed? And look, this isn't just some abstract thought experiment for war rooms. The ripple effects would hit your wallet, the stock market, and global stability almost instantly.
The first and most immediate shockwave? The price of oil. We're talking an explosion toward $150 a barrel. Now, to put that in perspective, that's the kind of price that could easily tip the entire world into a recession. So how on earth can one little waterway have so much power?
Well, it has that power because it is, quite literally, the world's oil artery. It's sandwiched right between Iran and Oman, and it's the only way for tankers to get from the Persian Gulf out to the open ocean. Its strategic importance, you just can't overstate it.
Think about the sheer volume for a second. Almost a fifth of the entire world's petroleum supply flows right through this one choke point, every single day. That creates a staggering dependency on a very narrow, and let's be honest, a very geopolitically tense body of water.
Okay, so let's really play this out. If that 20% of global oil just vanishes from the market overnight, what happens next? It's not just about a few tankers getting stuck, it's about lighting a fuse on the global economy.
Because everything is so interconnected, a shutdown would set off a really fast and severe economic chain reaction. You'd see this domino effect just cascade from energy markets all the way to financial markets in a matter of days. So here's how those dominoes would probably fall. It all starts with step one. The actual oil supply gets cut off. A huge chunk of the world's energy is just gone. That immediately triggers step two, the massive price spike we talked about, shooting up towards $150 a barrel. Then that higher energy cost feeds right into step three, intense pressure on inflation. Suddenly, everything gets way more expensive, from shipping goods to your daily commute. This forces central banks into a really tough spot at step four. They might have to crank up interest rates to fight that inflation. And that action leads to step five, currency volatility, as money starts flying around the globe looking for a safe place to land. And it all culminates in step six, widespread instability in the stock market as the entire system just reels from the shock.
And that's really the crucial takeaway here. This stops being just an energy crisis and very quickly becomes a full-blown financial crisis. Within days, the shockwaves would hammer global markets as investors start to grapple with just massive uncertainty and, frankly, a lot of fear. You have this really direct, really brutal relationship. On one side, you've got the sudden shock of extreme energy costs, which can paralyze entire industries. And on the other, you've got investors reacting instantly, leading to widespread panic and a massive rush away from anything that seems risky.
And the fallout wouldn't stop there. Investors would likely dump stocks and just scramble for traditional safe assets like gold or the US dollar. Emerging markets, which are often more vulnerable to these kinds of shocks, would face a huge risk of financial crisis. And of course, major energy importing countries, from Europe all the way to Asia, would come under intense economic pressure.
You know, when you add it all up, the scale of the financial risk is almost hard to wrap your head around. We are talking about trillions of dollars in economic value, in stock market value, and in global trade, all basically held hostage by this one single vulnerable waterway. In the end, it really all comes down to this: one narrow choke point, trillions of dollars on the line, and the entire world just watching and hoping that this vital artery of the global economy never, ever gets clogged. It really makes you wonder, what's the backup plan?